Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of LMScast. My name is Joshua Millage, and I'm joined today with Christopher Badgett. And today we're talking about, and this is a weird like kind of psychic forecasting episode around the 2016 e-learning industry trends. What are we seeing, Chris? There's been a lot of change this last year.
Absolutely, there has been, and we're recording this at the very end of 2015, which is an important time of the year to reflect on your personal goals and your business goals, your life goals, your industry goals. So as we look at the Lifter LMS project, our WordPress LMS plugin, and we look at the e-learning landscape in general, or the WordPress learning management system space in general, we're just kind of reflecting. We're looking at what's happened and where do we see things going in the next year. And I think there's a lot of trends we're seeing, but if I think we can boil it down to three, and those three are a desire and the demand for user experience,
Mm-hmm.
the growth of WordPress itself and where it's headed, and then the growth of the just the general e-learning industry over the past couple of years and what it's likely to do in the coming year. Those are the three big trends I'd like to talk about.
Well, let's dive in because I'm in 100% agreement. I think this year was a massive year in terms of for the WordPress community. I mean, we had the acquisition of the Woo Themes group, and the kind of the questions around what's going to happen to Sensei. I think, being very biased and very confident in our product, I think we made a splash and have kind of cut away a piece of the market. And we have a backing of a lot of big names now who are excited about our growth and what we're doing. And I think a lot of the incumbents are struggling to figure out the user experience, and they're not going to attack it from the angle that we're going to apply next year, which is really fun.
Yeah, and
So
I just want to add that the base of the user experience conversation, like we actually took a hit with Lifter LMS
massive hit.
to, but to do it the right way, to start
Mm-hmm.
by not building a WordPress LMS theme, but to start by building a framework, which is more the architecture that stands behind. But this
Can
year,
you speak a little bit about that real quick?
yeah, in the beginning, if we were going after the cache, we would have gone for the theme marketplace, but what we would have built would have been something that was non-transferable to another theme. You're kind of locked in to a theme, and really themes are better suited for design when most of a learning management system, at least the core architecture of it, is all functionality. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really belong in a theme, but the reality is, and many people in the WordPress community know this, that themes, if loaded up with a bunch of demo content and made to look all polished and scantily clad women on the demo images and everything, that those things sell. And we could have done that, but what decided to do is we were actually like, no, let's take a step back and let's look at the underlying fundamental architecture of online learning and start with a plugin so that people could then take their project and just go on as WordPress evolves, as themes evolve, and so on.
Well, and it made a difference for the developer,
Mhm.
which, whether you like it or not, pretty much runs the community. Like, people go to developers to get help, and so we wanted to really make it easy for them, and it shows. Like, we had Yoast and his team over at Yoast SEO. They came through and committed code and helped us improve our product, and they use it for their academy. Chris Lemma loves our product because of how it's developed on the back end. I mean, we've got a lot of big names excited about what we're doing, but we took a little bit of hit on the rapid growth that you can have with a theme, and we've seen that in the Envato marketplace with people who have created LMS themes, but then they get into it and the technology isn't what they were expecting. And so now I'll let you share it. With this trend of better user experience, what are we going to do, man?
Yeah, well, we're obviously going to continue to evolve the core functionality of a WordPress learning management system with Lifter LMS itself. But we're actively developing, and we're just about done with what we call LaunchPad. And LaunchPad is a theme framework that makes it quick and easy to spool up other WordPress LMS themes built on top of LaunchPad as a base. I'm not going to get into the technical nitty gritty of that, but it's kind of like the way Genesis works with child themes.
Mm-hmm.
But we're essentially, like with Genesis, opening up the development to the community to we're going to be releasing themes, but we're also encouraging other developers who are excited about online education and other WordPress agencies or people in the e-learning space to develop themes as well. And we're giving you the tools, the foundation to build on top of for that.
It's great. It's amazing. Um, what are some other trends, Chris? I mean, user experience is a huge one in my mind.
Yeah, and I would just
Um,
add a caveat to that it's also a learner experience.
yeah,
So, you got behind the scenes, you're turning the gears, you're setting up the courses, the lessons, the prerequisites, the quizzes, all these things, the analytics. But the theme allows you to really look closely at the learner experience, who's like more on the front end of the website and tracking through that learning behavior and experience. So I'm
yeah,
just really excited about the themes.
yeah. I am
Um,
too. Um, Partly because I'm involved in them at a pretty deep level, but I think that's huge because the design does change the education in my
it's a
mind.
part of the experience.
Right.
It's
And
a
I
huge
always
part.
just think back, my mom being a first grade teacher, she'd have different themes every year in her classroom. She'd have the ocean theme, and she'd
Yeah.
have the forest theme, and she used it to connect the dots in her learning, or her teaching, around reading. Okay, now we're going to use, or math. And I mean, I remember the math one she did. She had like a bunch of pine cones. She had me out in the yard grabbing pine cones because she's like, 2 pine cones plus one equals. I mean, this is a very elementary example, but that environment helped kind of helped the students learn, because they could take things from their surrounding. Now we're taking that online. What does that look like online? So it's
Absolutely.
really important. So what are some of the other trends that are popping up that you kind of are forecasting and looking forward to next year?
Well, you just mentioned it, just the growth of WordPress itself. I think that's huge. We're seeing just an increased interest in WordPress learning management systems. People, companies, schools, institutions, corporations, like looking at LifterLMS as a solution, and also an increased respect and openness to WordPress and using open source tools. And so that's really interesting to me that WordPress just passed 25% of the internet is powered by WordPress sites,
It's
and
huge.
that the internet itself is also growing. Like the amount of people coming online, and then the people accessing the internet through other devices like smartphones. Um, so just that trend as WordPress is the go-to solution for content management system, and what we're kind of like what WordPress is doing in terms of the democratization of publishing and and so on. We see ourselves as part of that story too, with the democratization of education and learning. And by using these tools like WordPress and LifterLMS, you're making it more accessible for people to teach and to learn. And also, we also have a new service we call Boost, which is a done-for-you service where we can also configure the WordPress, the hosting account, the LifterLMS, install your content, get the whole learning environment set up for you, just to even remove that hurdle. So, WordPress makes building websites easier. We're making teaching online easier. And we're also giving you the option, if you want to just remove the tech part out of the way altogether and leverage our expertise and move quickly, that you can do that too with our done for you service, which we call Boost.
Yeah. Um, and there's other levels that we can go to too, right?
Yeah,
the,
yeah. I
the
mean, we do.
the next level is even more exciting to me because if you're not constrained by budget or not as much, you have a big idea and you have some money. We develop high end learning management systems all of the time, custom to the user's needs and the administration team's needs and the students' needs, and we've done this for small and medium sized businesses into corporations. So for us, we've got our hands in every single level of the equation right now, and more to come this next year too. So I'm really excited about the possibilities and what we're doing in the trends. One of the trends that I see too is I think this year will mark the true death of the membership site.
Mhm.
Um, just a Mayan prophecy, for lack of better terms. I mean, it's not really based in anything other than observation, so I want to be honest with it. But I do think that the classic membership site is done, where you pay and
Or
you just have this smorgasbord of information. Um, this is really popular in the info product world or info marketing world. I think that those days are over, at this point. So
or just no long or becoming a commodity where they can no longer be sold for 1,000 or 2,000 or more dollars.
right, right. Yeah, we're going to be moving into true education, and it's going to be much more, not much more difficult, but the people who are true teachers are going to succeed, where the guys who are charlatans are going to have a much harder time, which is great, actually. It's a great trend, and it's good to be a good teacher with access to relatively inexpensive technologies like LifterLMS and our themes, and um, yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun this year, and people are gonna have a lot of success too. So I'm excited. So yeah, Chris, do you have any final thoughts before we sign off on today's episode?
Yeah, I would just highlight if you are interested in checking out what we've got going on, just like with WordPress. Like I've always like waited for WordPress to focus, but it
Yeah,
just keeps happening where like they have a hosted solution, they have like these small sites that people play around with the WordPress technology, and there's a lot of big corporations like the Time news site is powered by WordPress or CNN. There's all these big, brands using WordPress, so they're not really focused on a particular niche. And we're the
right.
same way at Lifter LMS in the way that like you could go purchase the Lifter LMS plugin, or you could go get a boost service and get up and running. You
Hmm.
could do custom development project with us, and we can build to your exact specifications. So yeah, I'm just excited. Like I think I'm just letting go a little bit on you. You don't have to pick. You can provide the tool to the person who's a do-it-yourselfer, or you can help the company or the visionary entrepreneur who has like a big vision and wants some leaders in the community to bring it to life. So I'm really excited for 2016.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, until then, we will talk to you soon.